Venerables and Dharma friends, Amitofo. Okay, in the 4-day Chan retreat, in the morning and in the evening, we chant the Heart Sutra. In the beginning, it says that Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva practiced profound prajna paramita and also perceived the empty nature of the 5 skandhas. And finally, the Bodhisattva transcended all sufferings. We human beings live in this samsara world, and we transmigrate again and again. We suffer from the cycle of death and rebirth. Not just about this kind of suffering. In general, we experience a lot of unpleasant things. Natural disaster, bad economy, wars, and also we might be cheated by our beloved ones. We may get injured, we get sick, and we get old. We have a lot of anxiety and also experience stress. All these unpleasant things, uncomfortable feelings, make us suffer. Of course, we also have something very pleasant that's happening every day. But in fact, all these pleasant things, they do not last for a long time, and they may change quite a bit. And that's why, in general, the Buddha told us everything in the world is dukkha. And this dukkha is suffering, and that is something we don't feel comfortable, that we don't feel content. We are not satisfied with what we are, with what we are experiencing, and we are not satisfied with the people around us and with the environment in the entire world. Avalokiteshvara, he has transcended all the sufferings. But how? The most important thing is that he has seen and he has discovered the true nature of everything. And what is the true nature of everything? That is the emptiness. Nothing lasts forever. The Buddha told us, no self. And this no self, it's non-self. There is a self, of course. When we have pain, we feel it. When we eat, we know we are here. When we are doing things and we are holding a pencil to write something, and when we are hearing voice, hearing all the different sounds, yes, there's an individual. But this individual is changing all the time. And that's why the Buddha told us, non-self. Nothing stands alone. Nothing stands forever. And this is the change that makes us suffer. And that's why we have to perceive the change. We have to accept the change. And we have to see through all these change that creates suffering. And the most important thing for us to understand about the empty nature is to see the empty nature of this self, the so-called I. What is I? What is self? That is just a composite of the 5 skandhas. And Avalokiteshvara has perceived the 5 skandhas. He knows all these 5 skandhas, they are not true. They are false, and they are misleading us to make us get confused, to make us fear, to make us panic, to make us suffer. So what are the 5 skandhas? That's the body, feelings, perceptions, volitions, and consciousness. These 5 skandhas, or 5 aggregates, together compose what we think is I, and that is the self. There's a story in the Buddhist scripture. It says that there was a group of performers. These performers lived in a time of famine. So they have to travel from one city to another. By performing, they make a living. One day, they passed through a mountain, and this mountain was known for being haunted by demons. And those demons like to eat people. And today, it was so dark, and it was the night. They had nowhere to go but camping in the mountain. Since they had no choice, so they started to camp. Once they had put up their tents, and it was so cold and so dark, so they started to light a fire, and they was ready to go to sleep. And it was so cold, so during the night, a performer, this guy, he woke up. He could not fall asleep. So he grabbed a costume, and this costume is a demon costume. But he was not aware of that. So he put on the costume and sat by the fire to make himself warm. During the midnight, another guy woke up. He was cold, and he wanted to go to pee. When he woke up and walked out of the tent, he saw a figure that is a demon by the fire. When he saw the demon, he was so fearful and he panicked and he shouted, "Demon, demon, demon." And he was so scared, he started to run. And the rest of the group, they were sleeping, but they heard the shouting, "Demon." So they all woke up. When they woke up, they thought there was a demon by the fire. So they started to run as well. The guy who was in the demon costume, he saw everyone running. He was scared. He did not want to be left behind. He did not want it to be eaten by the demon. So he started to run after all his friends. Their friends ran so fast because they thought they were chasing after by a demon. And the guy who was in the demon costume, he thought, "You run so fast, don't leave me behind." So he ran faster and faster. The others were panicking. So together, the entire group ran and ran and ran in the dark night until when the daylight appeared. It was the daytime, and they were all exhausted. Some of them even got injured when they were running. So now the sun was out. They just realized that there was no demon at all. It was their friend who was in a demon costume. So let's reflect. Are we like the guy who put on a demon costume, yet we are not knowing about that? And we are the troublemaker. We create sufferings for others, but we are not aware of that. Or are we like the guy who did not see things clearly, who was not mindful, and did not examine the environment more carefully? And he had a fear in his mind. He was afraid of demons. And that's why when he was seeing something and seeing a shadow and mistake that as a demon, his own fear leads to others' fear. And he was the one who creates all the chaos. Are we like that? Or we are like the rest of the group? We are not knowing what is happening. What is going on? We are not sure. But we just follow the trend. We just go with the flow. Everyone was running, so do we. So we chase after a lot of things, and we do things blindly. And that is the ignorance that lead us to suffer, that lead us to transmigrate again and again. So the darkness in the midnight represents our ignorance, represents our delusion. And the demon actually does not exist, but we have fear in our mind. And we have all this misconception. We have the presumption. We suppose there are demons. We suppose we have a lot of sufferings. Of course, we do have sufferings, but a lot of sufferings actually, they are just illusions. And we hold on to these illusions. We don't want to let it go. And that's why we suffer again and again. Now we are so fortunate to meet the Dharma and to learn the Dharma. That is the daylight. That is the brightness we can enjoy. In the Buddha's teaching of the emptiness, the Buddha's teaching of the no self, lead us to see through all these delusions and illusions. The Buddha also taught us about mindfulness. So when we see what is going on, we have to be more attentive. We have to perceive more carefully with a mindful knowing so that we will not do things blindly. We will not just follow the flow, and we, in fact, can go against the flow of recycle. Recycle what? Recycling being in the Samsara world. The world is a cycle of death and rebirth. And we are being trapped in Samsara, just like we are being recycled again and again. We are like trash, being dumped. And when can we really see this body of waste? When can we see through the impermanent body, the impermanent feelings, the impermanent perception, the impermanent mental volition, and our impermanent consciousness? When can we start to see the true nature, our bodhi-mind, our bodhicitta that we have? When can we be awakened and not be troubled by our 5 skandhas? We have this physical body. When we get sick, we are not comfortable. When we lack sleep, that creates more anxiety. When we have this misperception, and we have a lot of presumption, or when we are cheated by others, the feelings that is being hurt lead us to create more pain for ourselves and even for others. When others look down upon us, we feel that we are humiliated. We feel that we are not being respected. So this is the feeling of I. And the feeling of the I that is the center. That is what is essential to create all these sufferings. So now let's sit quietly and to observe the 5 skandhas, to observe the impermanence of these 5 aggregates, to see through its illusion, and to get rid of all the confusion, all the desire, all the hatred, and all the ignorance that make us suffer. When we reflect inward and be mindful and go back to our original mind, then we start to see the daylight. We start to see the hope. We will not be trapped in this samsara world. And we will feel that this life is full of hope, and this life is bright, and we are pleasant, and we are happy. We are enjoying the Dharma, and we will attain Buddhahood one day.